Hello, beautiful unicorns. Happy Monday and welcome back to my weekly live video where I do card readings, which I also refer to as intuitive readings because, intuitively reading the card. And today, yes, I will be doing card reading, but I'll keep it short and sweet after we chit chat about dream interpreting, because this is something that has been really coming back into my life recently in a very loud way, where I cannot ignore the dreams and the feelings and emotions that the dreams allow me to experience and the meanings of them. So just to give you a little bit of a background history, which is really straightforward. Ever since I was a little girl, I had dreams, and some of those dreams would be uncomfortable, and I had my mom to go to and talk about my dreams, and she would help me understand their meaning. What does that dream mean? What is it saying? What it's about, to help me process what I was experiencing in a dreamland. Here's my understanding with this physical experience called sleep and dreaming, is that our body is here, but we as a soul, we're not sleeping. We're awake, we're alert, and actually we are awake, but we're not fully alert. So this is where you can bring in lucid dreaming, where you can control your dreams and you are in charge as if you are in real life. But in real life, all I talk about all the time is the programming that we all have. So we think that we are making a choice. We think that this is what we want. But if we really wanted it, then why don't we have it in our life already? And the reason for that is because we have the default programs that we have on us that are making the choices for us, to react versus respond, to drink coffee versus drink tea. And it takes energy and effort to change that, to become conscious and aware and present in our daily life, in our waking life. But in our dreams, we refer to it as lucid dreaming. Now, if we start to understand that dreams and real life, when we are awake, we'll refer to as real life, that both of them are our subconscious, and at the same time something that's beyond us that is guiding us and helping us with our journey, with what we are meant to do with our life. So I'm not gonna go into all the dreams that I've had through my my 37 years of life and help you see and interpret certain dreams, but I don't want to assume that you are just like everyone else, where you have certain dreams that you have dreamt, and then when you woke up, you remembered them and they had some sort of a meaning to you, whether you were aware of it or not, whether you interpreted them or not, that there was a feeling and emotion left. It's like the residue that's left behind you. It kind of, what brings up for me is when we go through something in our life, that, let's say you had a situation with a person and they might have said a lot of things, but you don't fully remember what they said. What you're left with is the feelings and emotions of how they made you feel, what you experienced on an internal level in the way that you can't fully explain outside of your body, because it's feelings, and an emotion is a leftover of the feelings. Emotion it's a state that we are. Feelings come and go, but emotions, they stay. So where dreams have left emotions in us, where in a way of having that experience that we lived through, just because we slept and we didn't have our eyes open when we experienced it, does not make it any less of a reality. So I wanted to talk about my dream last night which really triggered me now coming out and talking about dream interpreting. And I've actually remembered that that's something that I helped with some of the clients that I work with, to help them interpret their dreams, help them understand what they were going through or what they were about to be going through. Because dreams are not just about what has happened in the past. Dreams are really helping us to understand what is happening and what is coming. Of course, based in the past, but not so much so. The reason why it's based in the past is because that's who we are. And when we are looking at dreams and we're looking to the future, where the dream is telling us what's going to happen, it helps us to be more prepared. And in some cases, it means you got some work to do. So, I had a dream. Let me get a little comfortable with my fluffy blanket and come a little closer to you guys. Oh, my pillow fell down. I like my pillow behind me for extra cushion and softness. And so that way it pushes me a little forward so I don't lean back in my chair and get too relaxed. So let's start off with, I have some screenshots that I can share in the comments later that I took of my dream. Oh, where did it go? I'll open it again. Okay. So there's 3 pictures that I have, 3 screenshots. So first, let me tell you my dream, and then I will read and go through the process of interpreting, as if like interpreting a card, right? I have 3 cards that I will be interpreting based on my dream, but I feel like there's parts of it that I'll be sharing that will resonate with you as well, because we're all on similar journeys. So here was my dream. So my husband in my dream, which is my husband in real life as well, he brought me, the kids, my mom and my dad into this house and said that he bought this house for us, that he sold this house that we're living in, and that he bought that house, and that house was so affordable and beautiful that he was so proud and happy of it, and that we had lots of money in the bank. I remember 800,000 that's what the feeling I had that was in the bank from just going from one house to another house. And I remember feeling like I didn't want this, like I didn't ask for this. But yet when I walked into the house and I'm looking through the house, I see the ceiling, like I don't even remember seeing the ceilings because it was so high. There were beautiful sky lights, there were sun beaming through, everything felt like it was just windows and not too many walls. It was just curtains covering some of the windows. There were no walls, so there were rooms, but there were no walls between the rooms. What there was, it was curtains, but they were not, like, just imagine the walls that you have, and they were curtains, but they weren't in the shape of it. They were just closed curtains, but I knew that that was the walls of the rooms. And I remember that there was a bathroom and I wanted to go take a bath, or it was a shower or bath, I don't remember. I just wanted to go and get wet in this bathroom, and that I couldn't find the door, and the only door that I saw was to get outside, and there were curtains on it, and I ran to go close the curtains, and there was a man outside who came inside because he thought I was in trouble. And anyways, and then I realized that there was curtains around the bathroom that were the walls of the bathroom. So I just remember feeling that I didn't ask for this, that I didn't want this house, but I was falling in love with this house because it was just It was really beautiful. It was really unique, really different. And it even had this feeling of safe and comfortable. And here's the interesting part. And I'll get into the interpreting as you hear this background story. I remember carpets being on the ground, but as I looked outside of the carpet, there was soil. There was no floors either. It was just soil, and it was very like moist and healthy soil, and it felt really grounding. And then now let's take it out of the house, the feelings and the experience that I had outside of this house, where I was sitting on top of, the best way to describe it is, when I was a young child, I used to run on these, nowadays you see them as storage places, where you have the storage unit and you have the kind of like a garage door in front. But back in Russia, these were actual garages where mostly men were, and not all of them were done. Some roofs were open, some were actually done, and I used to run on those roofs and climb, and basically I used to go places where I wasn't allowed to go. So I remember in my dream, I was sitting on the top of one of those garages and just taking in everything and everyone. And the people, this was like a small town. Everyone was outside. Nobody was hiding inside. Everyone was happy. Everyone was cheery. There was just such a, it wasn't even happiness. It was joy. Everyone was joyful. And I just remember feeling a little bitter that I didn't have a say in this house, but yet I was loving every part of what we were experiencing. And I remember there was a man that came up to me while I was sitting, that I just knew he had ill intent. And my husband was there because I almost like called him, and he came and he rescued me just with his sheer presence. Then, yeah. So I feel like that's pretty much it with the dream, just to kind of give you the overall feeling of it. And I remember walking around the streets, and I knew the reason why everyone was happy and joyful is because they were grounded. Like, I knew that was it. And in my dream, the fact that there was soil throughout the house and it was just so grounding, I knew that that's why my husband sold our house and bought that house for us. And it was a surprise, and he knew that it will take me a moment to appreciate it, is how I would put it. So now let me go into the interpretation. The soil is the first thing that I have open here. So this is what the soil says. To see or be in contact with soil in your dream symbolizes growth and fertility. Now, fertility doesn't necessarily mean actual pregnancy and having a child. Fertility also means ideas. It means just really being fertile with grounding, with knowledge, with wisdom, with something new and growing, like fertile soil, right? It also represents a solid foundation in life. You need to approach your goals with practicality. Yeah, I know. Get out from the dream clouds and be practical. That's why I have people in my life who are more practical. I am a massive dreamer, and I need people in my life that ground me. And I'm so glad and grateful to have people like that in my life who ground me. I think I'm missing some comments, so let me open up a different page so I can actually see comments. Where's my book of faces? Here we go. And we are in the group, so let's get into the group. And there we go. I already see see, there's already 4 comments and I don't see them. I'll mute myself. There we go. Hey Debbie, how are you? Beautiful. Hi Rebecca. Good morning, amiga. I started listening to your message, and Spanish is a language I do want to learn. And then Rebecca says, I used to study dreams many years ago when I was a teen. And Debbie says, I love your shirt. I love my shirt too. when I saw it online, I actually had it on my card. I kid you not, for 8 months, and I denied myself spending $16 on a shirt that I really liked. And then I just said, why not? If I don't say yes to myself, I don't need permission. Like, I don't want permission. And I know if I ask my husband, like, why didn't you get it for yourself? Yes, go ahead and get it. So I just got it for myself. $16 is not that much, really. Send me the link, please. I will send you the link for sure. And it comes actually in different color, background color as I call it. But I wanted the gray one. Gray is more of my color. So now that I have the comments here and I see what's happening, let's keep going with interpretation. So you need to approach your goals with practicality, being practical. And if you are like me and you're a dreamer and you find it challenging to sit down and be more analytical, where let's put this plan in place and it's solid, black and white, and actually execute it. I'm really good at helping others to do that, but when it comes to myself, it's different. Or we're all like that, right? When we're good at something, we can help others with it, but for some reason we struggle to give that to ourselves. So then it keeps going. If the soil is hard and dry, okay, now in my dream it wasn't. Like I said, in my dream the soil was moist and it was healthy and it just felt whole and grounding. So it would be in a way the opposite. If the soil is hard and dry, then it indicates that you are not being true to yourself. And this part is true for many women, especially in this group. That's why we're here, Heal the Unicorn, where you find yourself struggling to express yourself in the most important places in your life. For me, the most important place in my life is in my relationship with my husband, where I will get into that part as well. And this is where, the house that he bought in my dream for us was the experience that we went through, where I didn't ask for it, didn't want it, wasn't fully grateful for it, but you need to go through the experience. You need to walk through the house and see it room by room, without the walls, without anything, and we'll get into the house part as well, to really understand and appreciate the value of that experience, and that there's so much more to it. So for me, the soil was moist and it was healthy and it was fertile. It was very fertile and it was so grounding that I could feel it through the carpets. I didn't have to stand on the soil to feel the soil through the carpet. Now in my dream, I also was telling my husband that I want floors. I don't want soil because people are going to judge. People are going to say this, people are going to say that. And my husband just listened and heard and didn't do anything. Just knew that that was how it was meant to be. And this is the subconscious that comes in, the gremlin, right? The gremlin comes in and doubts that, no, we don't need soil. We need a hard surface. We need the walls around. We need all this. We need to protect ourselves. That we cannot be open and exposed. Because the gremlin is the program that keeps us small from a very young age. It keeps us safe and protected. But it does not allow us to be ourselves. So those of you who are feeling that in your dream the soil would be hard and dry, because it indicates that you're not being true to yourself and you're not being true with yourself in the places, in the spaces in your life where it matters the most. It keeps going. You are trying to hide under a hard shell. That's the hard and dry soil. That's the hard shell. The dream may also be analogous to something that is soiled or tainted. And this is where understanding what soil you're seeing in your dreams. Whether it's in the house, outside the house, when you become aware of your dreams and you wake up and you remember certain parts, it's there for a reason. And if you ignore it, if you don't go in looking into your dreams and interpreting them, what is going to happen is that you are not going to be remembering your dreams. They will become like, you know, when you're at work and there's music playing in the background, you don't hear it anymore, you don't pay attention until you tune out and you focus on the sound, on the music, and you start hearing it. Dreams are that same way. When you start focusing and paying attention to your dreams, they will help you see your life in a way that you have never been able to see before. It's just like card reading, that you know things, you understand things, and you become intuitive to interpreting your dreams or interpreting cards, interpreting your daily existence through dreams as well. So that's with the soil. The next one that I have is the people. Now, this one is not exactly very clear. It doesn't really talk about the how I felt and experienced people in my life. Sorry, in my life, but in my dream, but which was my life and my dream. How I felt the people. It just, the best way to describe it is that everybody was celebrating each other every single day. If something happened with one person, everybody came together. Everybody celebrated them and cheered them on and cheered them up. That there was no sorrow. There was nothing like that. Yes, there were some people, like I said, there was someone with bad intent that came and wanted to hurt me. And I sensed that. But he could not even get close to me because I was protected. Not just by my husband, but by other people around, that they were there and nothing was going to happen to me. I knew I was safe and protected. And this, to me, the best way how I would describe it is the essence of this group, this heal the unicorn spiritual awakening for women. This is the essence of this group. That's what it really helped me to understand, is the foundation of the moist soil is this group. That's how I connected. That there are men who will try to come and hurt us and harm us, but we're here helping each other, supporting each other from a place of groundedness and joyfulness. So this is the dictionary. I can send you a link as well if you're interested to see what dictionary I use online to help me interpret these dreams. I've looked at many other ones, but this is the one that I've been using for, I think, at least 6 years, maybe even more. I don't have any physical journals. Sorry, I call them journals because in the way they are, but interpretation, dream interpretation, dream dictionaries, I don't have any physical ones. I used to, but they didn't feel right, so I found them a new home. So, but this site is the one that works for me and has been for 6 years now. Now, there was also a part of my life where I ignored dreams. I didn't want to interpret them. I didn't want anything to do with them, so I stopped having dreams. There was a darker parts of my life, and then coming back to dreams, and then going back to no dreams, and now we're back to dreams. They've been quite fun, and every single night, and it is not exhausting like some people might start to question. Wouldn't it be exhausting to have such intense dreams where you wake up and you feel like you were in a different world? Absolutely not. It feels so much more alive and energizing that my night is not wasted. Things are happening while I'm sleeping, and that's magical if you ask me. So let's go into the interpretation. To see people you know in your dream signifies qualities and feelings of them that you desire for yourself. Now, I saw my husband, I saw my father, and I've been feeling more connected with my father. Anyways, and the reason why I feel emotional is because I feel like I grew up with my father just feeling like he had to be strong and not be very open and not be very huggable, is the way I'll describe it. Whereas that's not how I'm feeling lately. So that's why it just feels like dreams are coming true in a way. And I feel like a lot of you can relate to this. Growing up with our fathers, having to be so strong, having to be so masculine that it doesn't allow for connections to be there, to be built, to be experienced. So, and the same thing could be said about my husband, but in different ways. And now this is where I'll bring it back to the soil and the house, and you guys will get to hear a little bit. I do like to keep my life private, but I feel like it is important to share some aspects because a lot of you are in a relationship and you can relate and you can learn as well. But having your partner open up about the things that they've been silent and put up walls around, so that way I must be strong and I can't be myself, right? I can't be sensitive. I can't show my feelings and emotions. I have to be strong. I have to be that solid, supportive person in her life. And that's not what we women want. Some women do want to marry James Bond kind of a character, but most do not. They'll have fun with him, but they will not want to stay married to that character. So I'm not gonna go into talking about the people that I had in my dream. As it says, to see people you know in your dream signifies qualities and feelings of them that you desire yourself. I'm not gonna go into that. I just want to bring that up for those of you who are dreaming of people. When you dream of certain people, there's a reason why you dream of them, and that's for you to start to uncover what it might be. If these people are from your past, then the dream refers to your shadow and other unacknowledged aspects of yourself. The shadow work that you'll be doing, the things that you have been hiding from yourself even or from others. And it is time to start acknowledging those parts of yourself, those aspects of yourself, those things that you have locked up in the Pandora box and you don't want to deal, you don't want to uncover. Those are the very things that will set you free. They are the only things that will set you free, in my experience. And when I say the only, of course, I don't limit it to these are the only things. There's so much more to it. But the reason why I use the word only, I feel like, is because laser focus on what you want in life. And if you want to feel free and feel freedom, then you need to take out the stuff that you don't want to deal with when it comes to yourself and who you are and who you are being versus who you truly are, and start working through those things. And it's best to do it with guidance as well, 1000%. It may represent a waking situation that is bringing out similar feelings from your past relationships. Now, as I said, in my dream, it was like, this is not exactly what I was experiencing in my dream. And the one that really felt like, when it says the qualities and feelings of them that you desire for yourself, is a little, for me, it's my father and my husband. To me, in my dream, they were very similar. where my father wasn't living in that house, and my husband didn't buy it for, you know, the people that were there. My mom, my dad, my sister was there for a little bit, and our kids, my husband and I. He didn't buy it for all of us. He bought it for me and him and our kids. But we are our parents. We marry our parents in a way. But they don't stay that way. And that's the magical part, is that just because we married, quote unquote, our parents, or we became our parents, does not mean we or our partners stay that way. It just means that there's evolution that takes place, and we are a ship together. We're both captains of the ship, and we get to navigate the ship together as a unit, as a solid unit. But in order for us to be a solid unit, there needs to be solid ground. There needs to be solid base. The ship needs to be solid. There can't be holes in the ship. And communication is the most important part of the solid base, the solid start. And we all start off great with being an open book, but little by little, we all put up walls and close doors, not just to protect ourselves, but to protect our partners. But how much of that are we assuming? And how much of the opportunities of growth are we taking away from our partners by assuming that if I say this, it's going to hurt them so much and they won't be able to heal from that? Versus, what if that is not even the truth? What if we're just assuming, and that assumption is actually doing more damage than good? So I'll leave that one. Food for thought for you. Now, to see people you don't know in your dreams denotes hidden aspects of yourself that you need to confront or acknowledge. I know that there is a lot of aspects of myself that I need to confront and acknowledge. And I continue to do that every single day. This dream is, in the previous day, dreams were just like scratching the surface to help me go in deeper. And I saw a lot of people I did not know in my dream. Like I said, there were, this town, it felt like, it just reminded me of like really small towns back in the day where it would be kind of like dirt roads and a lot of people outside, because there was no TVs, there was no technology, everybody was just together, and there was so much more connected. There was no walls, right? That's why even when I was talking about when I was trying to take a shower, and I was covered, I wasn't fully naked, because being naked, that's a whole different interpretation, which is not here. I'll leave it for a different day. Or if you're interested, reach out to me and we can chit chat and helping maybe perhaps interpret your dreams where you were naked in your dreams and what that means for you. But even that part where I was in my house and this man felt the need to run in the house to make sure I was safe, that everything was okay, because he felt like something was wrong, because I seemed panicky. That was, how do I put it? I knew it was a man, but I don't entirely know if it was actually like a man. It might have been just a female who was more in her masculine, that came to make sure that I was safe, that nothing was happening in the house. And my husband was there to, say, we're good, we're good, please leave the house, type of a thing. But it's just says about the energy of everyone who was in my dream, every human that was in my dream, that they were happy and they were joyful and they were connected, and that they were celebrating. It was just constant celebration and happiness. Now, to dream that people are standing or blocking your way refers to those around you who don't want you to move ahead or succeed in life. I did feel that energy, like I said, from those two men in a way, the masculine. That's why I'm like, I don't know if there were actually men or just of more of a masculine, and the masculine we refer to is when we all get into that headspace of comparison. Is how I would describe it, when we compare our journey to someone else and we are putting the other person down because we're comparing ourselves and trying to elevate ourselves by putting somebody else's down, that I'm doing this better and she's not. And that is what I am getting from this interpretation, that there was no ill intent in my dream, that there was, you know, these masculine energies coming in, especially one where it felt like what I just said, like that, the compareritis, but they were quickly reminded, get back in your own lane. You do you keep going, and that's it. So, and that person felt a little bit dark, which means that they're going through their own things as well. You feel that someone in your social circle is working against you. Alternatively, the dream implies that you are being protected from some harm. That is the one that I interpret as that was part of my dream. Not that it feels you feel that someone in your social circle is working against you. I don't feel like anybody's working against me. It's that compareritis, that momentary experience of the ego, of the narcissism coming through, which is a human experience. It's perfectly normal. It's just becoming consciously aware of it and shifting. And that's what that person needed in my dream. Just snap, and they're good. They got it. Okay, to see dangerous people in your dream suggests that you need to proceed with caution in some endeavor. There was no dangerous people. Even though that person felt dangerous, but like I said, it was more so compareritis. And to me, that's a reminder for all of you as well, is to protect your energy, protect your aura, protect your space. That's all you can do. Just focus on yourself. You do you. Start your day off right, on the right foot or the left foot. It works as well. You don't have to be take it too literally. So before we go into the next part, I want to see some comments. Rebecca said, I had a dream dictionary as a teen, a hardcover. Yes, I had a hardcover as well, but I had a couple of books. One of them, I think, yeah, it was in Russian, and for me, I think and process everything in English, so it is just easier to do everything in English and not read and write in Russian, because I'm out of practice with that. And for me, I don't see the need for using that, but also doesn't mean that I forget. It's not how I operate. And the hardcover that I had, I just realized why I knew that it wasn't for me, and I ended up giving it to my mom, actually, is because it ripped and it just didn't feel right anymore. I couldn't find myself. It's like, you know, when you open a book and it just feels tainted. So it just didn't feel like it was mine. It didn't belong to me, so I gave it to my mom. And I think she might still have it or still use it. And then Rebecca says, the only dreams I have now are reoccurring, and I'm sure they are past life memories. They could be. Or if they are reoccurring, is that there are lessons in there for you that you still need to learn. I've had some reoccurring dreams. I don't remember what they are now because I've worked through them, but I had some reoccurring dreams, and sometimes I actually do have, for me, the reoccurring experiences of my dreams is being in my childhood apartment, and we lived in an apartment building on the 7th floor, and just being in that space, or being in the childhood areas where I grew up back in Russia, and it would be like the same or similar experiences. the things that I would do and the giants I would run away from, where it's like you're running on one spot and you can't run, you're just stuck, and you're screaming, you can't scream. So I've worked through those to help me understand what that was, and you know, that's what brought me and led me to the birth of Empathy Unicorn Academy, and then the birth of Heal the Unicorn as well, and everything that I am today. I feel like dreams were a huge part of that. And Debbie said, I feel that too. And then Marlena says, good morning, Marlena. I saw you hop on and off a couple of times. I'm not sure how it actually works. I think if you have the video open on the side, it doesn't show that you're live. It just shows me different numbers, the people that are live, because we have the option now to watch a live video and still go through Facebook and browse and do our own things, which I find fascinating, and it's really awesome. It's like screen on screen, but at the same time, it overstimulates our mind, which is a different conversation. Okay, so now let's go into, where is that page? Here we go. So we went through the people. To me, I mentioned quite a few things in my dream, but the most loudest ones are the ones that I have on here. So when it comes to the house, I am not gonna read every single thing that is on there because it's really quite long, because when it comes to a house there's a lot of things, but I will read what I have here in a screenshot. So to see a house in your dream represents your own soul and self. You are the house. So when you're seeing a house, you are literally seeing yourself. So just think about going into the next part. Specific rooms in the house indicate a specific aspect of your psyche, of who you are. In general, the attic represents your intellect, the basement represents the subconscious, and etc. Now, there was no basement. We were on soil and ground level. There was no attic because it was just one big open space. There was no walls, and then we'll get into that. Everything was windows. There was some walls, there were doors, but it was mostly windows, and it was just so bright and open. And the curtains were different in every space. None of them were the same. On the window there was one curtain. Over the doors there were a different curtain, and then for the rooms there were different curtains, and they were just beautiful. And I was in awe of all of these things. For me, the feeling that I left, which I keep going back to, is that I didn't ask for this, I didn't want it, but I love it. And even in my dream, I was already seeing and interpreting the house and the experience and everything. So, but I knew I needed it, right? And I knew that it was my husband that brought me here, that allowed me to get to this stage of my life, of my evolution. We choose our partners, and our partners choose us for reasons that we will continue to unfold and uncover for the rest of our life. And to me, that is exciting. And what I'm feeling right now is just gratitude for recognizing this truth, that we are with people in our life for a reason and not for a season. We're with them not just to play house, but build the house. And that house in my dream just represents so much. So, if the house is empty, then it indicates feeling of insecurity. It was not empty. It had everything we needed. Everything we needed in the house, we had. If the house is shifting, then it suggests that you are going through some personal challenges and changing your belief system. Now, the house was not shifting, but in a way, I would interpret it that it is shifting in certain ways because there was soil and there was ground level. So as the soil shifts, the house itself might not shift, but the floor would shift. So that's how I would interpret this part. connecting with the soul and the house, the way that the flow of the house was. That, so then it suggests that you are going through some personal changes, which I am every single day, and I continue to, because that is my existence at this point. I've been doing personal development and personal growth, and when I really started, I would say it was in my 30s, so for 7 years at this point. But before that, it was just in tiny little bite sizes, which didn't seem like I was. It's just like crumbs. And changing your belief systems. Yeah, I've been sharing a lot of my belief systems with you guys throughout any and every video that I do, and even posts. So next, to dream that a house has no walls represents a lack of privacy, which I have felt, and that's why I keep coming and saying, and I'll be sharing more and more as I guess see fit, when it comes to how important it is for all of us to have our privacy. That, especially in my case, and many of you who are building a business online, just because your profile is public does not mean your life needs to be. And I use the word need because for me, it felt like I had to share my private life to build a connection with people. And I've learned that is not the way to go for many, many, many reasons, which I'm not going to get into right now. But what I feel like needs to be said in this moment is that you would not want to stand naked on a stage, in a stadium, in front of billions of people, because people simply will not understand. And when it comes to personal and private life, there are going to be people that are going to judge and not understand. So there is really no need for that. And on top of that, the less people know about you and your private life, the less they can harm you, energetically speaking. So I'll leave it at that, because to explain, it'll be a whole entire different video. Then following, you feel that everyone is looking over your shoulder or up in your business. Yes, I do. And that's why I do my best, the best for me, to express what I feel like needs to be expressed when the time comes and when the time is right, through my content, mostly through videos. But this is something that all of us feel. I feel like it's very natural, it's very normal to feel like we have lack of privacy, because let's be honest as well, anything that we do online is used for our benefit. Now, if we're doing it right, it will be for our benefit. If we're playing into the system, into the games that are being played online, and by that I mean the platforms we're using, the videos that we have, by videos I mean the cameras that we have, our phones, the tech that you have in your house, that is, best way to describe it is we're all being spied on. Everything that we talk about, everything that we are even looking and searching online, everything is tracked and monitored for our benefit. But I'm doing the air quotations because if you're not doing it in the way that is actually when you're conscious of it, then it's not for your benefit. But if you are conscious and you are aware of it, then it will be for your benefit, because you will be using it for your benefit instead of it as an entity. What I refer to, I'll call it the tech, or the infinite web. Then you will be using it instead of it using you, and nobody wants to be used, right? Now I'm not gonna go through the rest of them. here's the other part. To see an abandoned house, it was not an abandoned house. If you dreamt of that, we can chat and I can help you understand that part. To dream that you're cleaning your house signifies you need to clear out your thoughts and get rid of old ways. You are seeking self-improvement. There was absolutely no need to clean the house because it was already clean. It was already organized. It was perfect the way it was. It's just, like I said earlier, was that I didn't ask for this, but this is exactly what I needed. And when it comes to relationships, we all have times when we go through challenging times in relationships, because those are opportunities for growth and evolution that bring us to the next level of our relationships, because we are building something together. And in order for us to build, some bricks need to be taken out. They might have been shattered, they might have been broken, and replaced with new ones. And at the same time, let me see your bricks so you can, and let me show you my bricks so we can understand one another. That's really what bricks are, representing who am I. And then we take them and we put them together, right? Screen times out. Okay, so the next part is that to see an old rundown house in your dream represents your old beliefs. Now, old beliefs, attitudes, and how you used to think or feel. Now, the reason why I highlighted this part is because this house would feel in a way run down because there was no floors and no walls. That's why I highlighted that part, that it, like, in a way it felt like a rundown house, but it wasn't. So rundown house in your dreams represents your old beliefs, your old attitudes. Attitudes is actually the 7 energy of levels. That helps to understand the attitudes that we all have based on 7 energy levels that we have at our disposal, and how you used to think or feel. Right? Old beliefs, old attitudes, and how you used to think and feel. It's just a reminder of how it used to be and not how it currently is, right? As a situation in your current life may be bringing about those same attitudes and feelings, right? Being triggered. And it's an opportunity to do better and to be better. Alternatively, the old house may symbolize your need to update your mode of thinking. So, how used to think versus how I think now, and continue to update it as we each continue to evolve and become something greater than we are right now. Our way of thinking, our attitudes, our mode of thinking needs to be upgraded continuously. We are upgrading ourselves. That needs to be continuously upgraded as well. And then the next part is, if you see messy and or dilapidated houses in your dream, then it implies that an aspect of your own life is in chaos. Now, the house, like I said, it was not messy, it was organized, there was nothing breaking down, everything was working well, even the water was really, really nice and warm in my dream, and it was really clean and pure, and the bathtub was really big and deep. So with that, it would be the opposite, right? So if it says, if you see messy or like dilapidated, I see it as destroyed house or houses in your dream, then it implies that an aspect of your own life is in chaos, which means that peace and calm and equilibrium. To me, the word equilibrium is one of my dreams when it comes to living a life, because it was literally a dream that I had that left that feeling of what equilibrium feels like. It was just a powerful dream. And I maybe another time I'll share that with you. So, And then with the messy house, so those of you that are dreaming of a messy or broken down house, this is going to be what it often does represent. You may be suffering from some emotional or psychological clutter. You're feeling and experiencing your Pandora's box you might not be dealing with. You need to release these feelings in order to regain control. To dream that your house is damaged indicates you're walking concerns about the condition of your house. You're waking concerns about the condition of your house. So this part in a way is true from my dream as well, because in my dream, I kept referring to the ground and that we need the floors. And I remember saying something about we need to bring the proper water system to the house and make sure it's functioning and working well. And that's something that we actually have been working in this house, because this house is, what, 34 years old at this point? About 2 years ago, it was 32 years old. And we have been doing work since we moved in. And one of the things in this house is we've been dealing with is water. And by that, I mean there's hard water. And if our water softener broke, and we didn't know that it broke until, I guess in a way, it was on its way out. It wasn't working properly. And little by little, it started calcifying anything that water runs through in a house. So that's what really we've been dealing with as well. With now we have two working bathrooms. We finished the second bathroom, and the bathroom that we gotta finish next is what started happening there is the knobs for the hot water and the cold water. They're original. So they're like 34 years old, and everything needs upgrading once in a while. And they became so calcified that the water would not shut off properly. So what my husband ended up doing, which was genius, because the basement ceilings are not covered, so we see the water lines going to to the bathroom. So he just added just so basically like I forgot, he knows all these words, but that's besides the point, what it's called, water valve, a valve, so that way you can turn the water on and off. But in order for us to turn on water for the bathtub upstairs, we needed to cold water initially, and then we had to do that with the hot water, because that's when the water softener broke, and we didn't know it was broken for I would say probably almost a month by the time we really noticed. And so then we had to do the hot water. So every time we need to take a bath or even a shower, come downstairs, turn the water on, and to turn it off, the same thing, come downstairs. And now we don't have to do that anymore, because now we have the other bathroom working. So just a little bit of interpreting the dreams. And for the card reading, this is the one that fell out. This is the one that we're going to be doing. It literally just slid out. I'm not even going to be shuffling, because I feel like they've already been ready and waiting to be read. So I'm going to do this super quick. I feel like it's going to be a great wrap up for the dream interpreting. Let me see. Okay, just making sure we're good on the comments. Nothing is left unread. Dragonfly Emergence. It actually reminds me, I don't know if I shared that post yet or not, but how there was a picture that I found, how for Halloween someone made their own dragonflies, and they just looked so magical and beautiful that I wanted to make them as well. Let me see. I think it's also alphabetical. Let me see. Dragonfly. Nope. It's going to be coming. There we go. It was literally the next one. So I'll hold the card this way so you guys can see as I read. In the stages of the life cycle of a dragonfly, once the egg is laid upon a floating plant or dropped into the water, it gestates, hatches, and may remain for up to 4 years in this larval form called a nymph. I just learned something, but interesting concept. This is a precursor to the dragonfly. Dragonflies skip the cocoon stage, moving from egg directly to nymph. At some point, the nymph climbs onto a rock or a leaf, and there emerges from its former body and takes on the shape and character of the adult dragonfly. This radiant being then proceeds to illuminate our eyes and hearts as we witness its dramatic colors and magical dance along the surface of the water. This is you, by the way. In this card, we see a nature goddess, like the dragonfly, emerging from the water, her hair braided with vines, dotted with flowers. She is surrounded by dragonflies and is one with the vibrant plant life thriving in the pond. The goddess emerges from her gestation in the water transformed with a renewed sense of power and purpose. Now the pond screams really loud to me. I want to say swamp as well, not just a pond but swamp, because some of you might feel like you are in the swamp and just drowning or barely keeping your nose above water in the swamp. Or maybe it's not as heavy that it's a pond, but you're still not able to come out above the surface level, or you're still coming out. I see for her, it's right under the lip. But for some of you, the water might be right under the nose where you're just barely surviving. And if you are there, I just want to remind you of something that you already know, that it does get better and it will get better. It will become easier. You just gotta keep going forward, especially when it is the hardest to do. Because that is how you build and rebuild your character. That is what defines you. That if today all you can do is just get out of bed and get your kids ready for school and then go back to bed, then that is more than you need today. I have had many of those days, and I feel like the reason why I'm bringing this up is because my daughter was watching some videos that I have on one of my YouTube channels that I haven't even used that YouTube channel or checked it in I don't even know how long, where I was sharing, it was like hashtag fun with Kasperczak, and I was sharing quite a bit of our life and the kids and what we were doing. And to me, it was in a way like a very eerie and a powerful reminder of what you're hearing and what you're seeing of me was after I have done the work on myself and continue to do it, because a lot of those days I couldn't even get out of bed. But that is not what is seen through the videos or what is heard through the videos. That is the work that I was doing in the swamp. I felt like I was barely surviving, that my nose was just above water where I was barely surviving. So if you are there, your future is magnificent. Just continue doing the very best you can and keep challenging yourself and do your best to not think of things as a problem, right? Because to every problem, there is a solution, at least one solution. But try, because in the act of trying, we become. But more so in the act of doing, we become. Because when we try, we're just trying and testing the water. But when our attention is to do, then we're actually doing. But in the trying, we find a way to do, and that is all we can do sometimes. So if what you can do is try to do your best today, then try to do your best tomorrow. Because tomorrow, you might be able to do your best without having to try. And then the following days, you will just be doing your best, even when it feels hard. So that's what I wanted to say with this part. And Debbie said, I just saw a craft to make dragonflies from, I believe, maple leaves and sticks. I think that's the one that I might have shared in the group. That's the one that it was maple seeds, maple tree seeds sprayed in gold. Glitter, it has to be. I love glittery things, sparkly glittery lights and stuff like that. And it was with a stick, and then I think it had some black eyes in it, and I was just, oh my god, it's magical. It's so awesome. I need those. I haven't created them, so that was not my image. And then the last part of this, you are in an intense process of emergence into the next cycle of your life. Unlike more gradual shifts in awarenesses you have experienced, this one is happening quite rapidly and come on somewhat unexpectedly, without any pauses for contemplation or indecision. Quick and easy, fast. Get through it so you can process it afterwards and reflect on it. You may even think that you are unprepared for such dramatic changes in your life, yet you are prepared and can put use the experiences and wisdom you have accumulated up to now. Everything you went through life prepared you for this moment. There's some things and many things that you have learned and lessons you have learned that you will continue to uncover what they were. There's some things that you've learned when you were an infant that you are not aware of consciously, because that was just when you were being programmed, that you have used in your life and you will continue to use to help you live the life that you were meant to live. Life is demanding that you move into the next stage of maturity. This requires you to adjust your thinking about yourself, others, and your community. Perspective shift. Attitudes is honestly, that's why I'm actually, I wasn't going to mention it yet, but I'm actually planning on putting together a much more affordable offer for everyone for the Energy Leadership Index assessment, and that is the attitudinal assessment. And this, I believe, is going to be a great stepping stone for many of you who do decide to take the Energy Leadership Index assessment, or ELI for short, where it will help you to adjust your way of thinking about yourself, others, and your community. It calls for you to shed yet another layer of your ego-filled defenses. Ego-filled defenses, and let go of any illusions of being less than who you are. I'm going to leave that one for you to ponder about. This period of emergence is one of the broadened consciousness and heightened perceptual capacities. This period of emergence is one of the broadened consciousness and heightened perceptual capacities. And since it is inevitable it is the best to surrender to the flow and allow yourself to gracefully move into the next cycle of your life, to the next cycle of your evolution. So my heart has been flattering, like beating more, because I feel like this is not just for you guys, this is for me as well. This is the back of the card. I think it's the back of all the cards. Yeah, it's the back of all the cards. So this is very powerful reminder. And the other one I will show you. The one that is there is Lake and Stillness. I'm just showing you this because sometimes you got to be still as the body of water that you are. Energy is not like it's not confined. Energy is fluent. It's like water, and sometimes you got to be like a still lake so you can hear, really hear and understand not just yourself but others around you in ways that perhaps you never have before, and see everyone for who they are. Like really, really see them. And it does take practice and does take time. It is easier for some people. Like for me, it is easy because it's one of the gifts I was born with. That's, how do I put it? When we were going through coach training, one of the things that we had to do as exercise was reach out to people in our life and ask them to tell us what they think of us and how they see us and what gifts they see that we have. And this is one of the gifts that was expressed to me, and I didn't fully understand, and until I started diving in and understanding and spending time to understand it more. But the reason why I bring gifts up is because all of us have gifts, and that's why it's called a gift, is that we don't recognize that, we don't see the gifts that we have, but others in our life do, and they can point them out to us, and they often do. Unfortunately, and at the same time fortunately, it is often done in a negative way, where our gifts are pointed out to us in a negative way because the other person is feeling a certain way. And that's why I say unfortunately, because it hurts, but fortunately is because we then get to choose and decide if that person is for us or not, and what to do, and where we're going to go forward with this. Because we each have a choice. We're not stuck in this one place, in this one way of being, living, and experiencing life, that if we're not happy where we are, or with the people that we have in our life, we have a choice. And if you chose to play at life as if it was a sim game, you would be playing differently. And life, in a way, is a game. You get to choose what you gotta do. Yes, granted, maybe not every day you get to choose, because I'll use Sims. My daughter plays a lot of Sims. I used to, and I played it much more differently than she does. But in the Sims game, in this real life game, if you chose to be a mother, there's certain things that you have no choice but to do. But if you see it as you have no choice, then you are not going to feel happiness and joy, period. But if you choose to see it as, I chose this and I get to do this, and it does take time for some of us. For me, that was one of the things that I struggled with, with I have to do this and I don't want to do this. I have to be a mother, but I don't want to. But I needed to figure out what all of that meant for me in many different ways. But one being, what does it look like to me? What kind of a mother do I want to be? Right? Do I want to be the mother that cooks for my kids? Or do I want to be the mother that has a husband that cooks and helps to cook? Right? So figuring out different little parts of this sim character that I get to play. And that means then, how will my partner come and play this game with me? How will our children come and play this game with me? How will our pets come and play this game with me? How will our friends come and play this game with me? Meaning that in the Sims game, I get to choose who to be friends with, who gets invited to the party, right? Who I not necessarily work with in the Sims game, but in real life we can, ish, right? Depending what business you're working for or building on your own. One you get to choose and the other one not so much so. So if life was like a Sims game, that's the question I want to leave for you to ponder, and I would love to see and read your comments. If life was a Sims game, how would you play it? How would you play the Sims game? That's it. Yeah, that's it. I don't want to load you with any more questions. I just want to leave it very broad, meaning that whatever comes through to you with the Sims game, that is where your heart is at right now. That is where your mind is at right now. So dig in. Journal about it as well. It is such a healthy habit for many different reasons. But the best way to describe it is, we all sometimes have chaos and storms in our minds, and we can't see it clearly until it's outside of our body. So if you are feeling any less than you are, right, whatever comes through, there is, like, journal prompts help, but there are no journal prompts. It's just what's in your mind. Maybe it starts with a to-do list and then just evolves into something else. There's feelings, thoughts, and emotions being triggered. Get that out of your head and on paper so you can see the chaos. And when you see it, you recognize it. This is not a fun Sims game. I don't want to play this way. I don't want to play this way. So I want to do this instead. And you go and you do that, because you do have a choice. Like I said, granted, sometimes we don't. But even that might be temporary, where you feel like you don't have a choice temporarily. Now you just have to plan and scheme of what you're going to do to help you do better with the Sims game that you're playing, called Real Life You. Anyways, that's all that I have for you guys for today. Long enough of a video for you all. I'd love to hear your interpretations. And that's it. Yeah. Until I see you. Oh, okay. So reminder, tomorrow we have the Sacred Circle at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. So if you guys are interested in checking it out or joining the Sacred Circle, there is in the pinned post, there's a post on there where Bethany puts a link in the comments, and you can register and you can check it out and see if that's for you or not. And also a reminder for those of you who do attend that we're going to be doing that tomorrow, and I will be hosting the burn ceremony tomorrow with meditation. And other than that, I will see you all next Monday for another card reading, intuitive reading, and perhaps even dream interpreting, depending on where we're at. If you guys have dreams that you would like me to interpret for the next video, I can do that as well. Yeah. Other than that, until next time we see each other. Bye, everybody, and thank you for chit-chatting with me. Debbie says, thank you. I choose to live with a cat. Me too. That's an interesting. I'm curious to hear a little bit more about choosing to live with the cat. Something else I learned about cats I can not unlearn, and it is uncomfortable, but I'm not going to share because I don't want you guys to get rid of your cats and turn to dogs more. Yeah, I just leave it there. Maybe I'll share it for another time. Anyways, that is all. Thank you everybody on being live on with me, chatting and commenting and engaging with me, and those of you who are silent watchers as well. I love you guys all, and I really do hope that you take notes on what you learn, what's most important to you based on what I share, and then apply what you learn. That it's not just in one ear and out of the other, that it's in one ear, process, do the work, and then maybe not out of the ear, but maybe out of the mouth, and share it with others to help them on their journey, and maybe even share the group with them as well, because there's a lot of golden nuggets in here that can help them on this spiritual awakening journey that they're on, that all of us are on. From the beginning, it's just we start to wake up later on and start recognizing what it really is that we're going through, that we're growing through. Anyways, that is all. Thank you, everybody. And until next time, bye.